All right, let's get started. Okay, so today we're making a Rivals 2 tier list. This is pre-release, technically, but some people have been playing this game for a full year. It is worth noting, like, I have not been playing many of the betas. Played this game for Genesis, got top 8 there, lost to Turbo Broken Kragg. But since then, I won some developer tournaments right after, like 2 weeks after, and then I actually have not touched the game outside of one day in the most recent like monthly beta test. So I won't have that much knowledge. I've been playing the game for a few days now, so I am master now. I had a very high win rate, lost to some players, but overall, very high win rate. Would mainly play Forsburn. Ranno's probably my overall best character. That's the character I top 8 at Genesis with, but I wanted to try the new character. And so yeah, I'm just gonna talk about my experiences. I will have way less knowledge than someone who's been entering like all the offline tournaments, who's been playing all the betas, and maybe even been able to crack it. Apparently the devs didn't really crack down on, no pun intended, on playing the game in between it through unofficial means. So some people legitimately, aside from just playing Rivals 1, which obviously heavily transfers, have also just been playing the game for 9 months. So if you play someone who's way better than you, you can't actually assume that sometimes they just have way more game time than you. Even if they weren't cracking, just the amount of time people have put in this game will heavily, you will be a lot better if you played Rivals 1 or Melee or PM, stuff like that, right? So this is more of a, I'm just going to like talk about each character and we'll assess a little bit of strength. I'll talk about what I like and don't like about the character. It's not just so much about getting the specific spots, right? And it's also just going to be an interesting, like, okay, who's the new character, right? Or like, sorry, who, where are the characters? How will they, eventually end up being? Were we super wrong about a character early? I think it's interesting to make tier lists early because it tests your ability to read how the meta is going to develop. And then we'll see, eventually how wrong we were or right we were. Okay, so first up, Clairen. I think Clairen is incredibly strong. The only thing for me is that the playstyle is a little bit linear in terms of like, it's just hitting you with a sword and grabbing you. Doesn't really like knowledge check you like crazy like some of the other characters where they're just throwing shit on the screen, creating pillars from the fucking ground, spawning in minions. Like, I do think having more shit to do helps a lot because it makes it harder for you to fight. And it allows you to be more like just unpredictable in general. With Clairen, you do kind of have to just swing, even though Clairen is very cracked, and like the tippers on everything with Clairen right now is just like, just piss easy, absolutely piss easy. It is so easy to like hit tippers on everything. Almost no like aiming is required. I suspect they'll probably change a little bit of that. Clairen's punish game puts marked, that was shit. Absolute shame. Yeah, that is a thing in this game where like the power level in this game is just way fucking higher than Melee. Way fucking higher. The only thing characters are actually worse at is that generally, if like, for example, Marth compared to Clairen, they will nerf like 1 or 2 moves that are the most broken or slightly tune them. Like the F smash is like, slightly smaller. The downer is slightly different. Clarion fair is slightly different. But overall, the characters can very often be described as like combinations of characters with almost all of the strengths and maybe one like thing that removed. So in general, you're gonna have to see that these characters are just better than Melee characters. If you come from Melee, that's just something you're gonna have to accept. Yeah, Clairen very close to Mars. I do think Clairen has potential to be S tier, but we're gonna keep an A for now because I do think Just a little bit weaker on the recovery side. Not like anything crazy, like super obviously broken things outside of just broken hitboxes, broken punish game. Which could be end up being enough to be the best, but I personally view them slightly lower. Fleet, I actually think Fleet is very good, but I would still put them a tier below. Like, Fleet is strong, has a lot of shit, puts a lot of shit on the screen, but I do think that the speed, like, it's just a bit low on her. Recovery does seem good, but I have my doubts on how much you can actually edge guard her once you know everything. The float is really good. In general though, like, I feel like right now at least I don't have trouble dodging a lot of the slower arrows, like F smash, up smash, even side B, due to the movement in the game being so good. Even when you have shit, you know, covering the screen, I don't think she feels that scary. But maybe I need to play better Fleet players. Honestly though, it just kind of lacks like a really big like fuck you hitbox. Like, for example, like Fleet shares a lot of things with like Peach, but I think Peach has both down smash and dash attack, and Fleet just doesn't have like a really big like fuck you move, get out of my fucking face. And as a zoner and like as a character that likes to set up, not having that keep out move that really makes it annoying to run into you, keeps you from being one of these like super broken characters. Fleet is still a fully functional character, but she does have a weakness in being slow and not having like amazing keep out moves and amazing frame data. But that's just the thing. In this game, if you have a weakness, if your character is like, if your character is fully formed almost, as in like generally you want a character to have either some really good strengths and some bad weaknesses to make up for it, or you want a character to be a jack of all trades where they don't have any amazing strengths, but they don't have any amazing weaknesses either, or massive weaknesses. But I would say that Fleet is kind of in this middle. B in general tier is in this middle where they actually don't really, they do actually have weaknesses and they do have strengths. And even though the strengths are good, some of them are not just completely game breaking, so it's not enough. But yeah. Interested to see how she develops and how much you can really like make happen with all the different, like the bomb arrow, for example, that like exposed later. All right, we got Kragg. I think Kragg is like super underrated by a lot of players. I don't know if I would order the A tier, but like, oh my god, this character is so fucked up. I have no idea. No, I do know why, but like, it's so silly to me when people watch Kragg be the most played character top level, and he's just like very obviously working very little for the amount of hits he needs. He's super fast for a super heavy. He has like almost no recovery on his fucking attacks. You have to be a donkey to get shield grabbed, and even if you shield grab him, or like you're looking shield grab, he has an air grab that leads to fucking kills. Has amazing CC, amazing jabs, tilts, because he's so heavy as well. In general, all of his like projectiles, all his special moves are really good too. Like the rock projectile is just insanely fucked up. And people will tell me, oh, you just don't know Kragg gimmicks. Like, Kragg is my most played matchup by far. Maybe I don't know them, but when I watch good players fight this character too, I'm never like, wow, this character sure does look bad. Wow, they knew that gimmick. It's like, if a character has completely insta-kill gimmicks, and then they're also an amazing character when you're not falling for the gimmicks, that's just a good fucking character, man. Like this fantasy land where every player will know every single matchup perfectly and never fall for anything, have 5-frame reactions. Like, I don't think that exists, and I think as long as we live in a reality, super heavy, that is fast, 2 different projectiles, air, like command grab, broken ass recovery, broken edge guarding, broken kill power, broken combo game, and like absolutely no weaknesses of of being a heavy. Like if you look at heavies in Smash history, all of them have some massive fucking weakness. Even if you look at like Snake, like have you really thought about like how slow Snake is in like all of the games? Like he is really fucking slow, like air momentum wise, right? Or if you look at Peach is kind of a heavy in how she plays. She is really fucking slow. Still broken, but like, dude, she is slow. Yeah, I think in general people just underrate heavies in Smash because people are they care way too much about perfect neutral, as they say it. As like a lot of Smash players talk about this fantasy land where like if a character is even a single % slower than another character, that speed difference somehow is gonna make it so that the slower character in theory should never ever win neutral. Like yeah, the slow character just like gets outsped by a frame, and so that means they never win. And it's really funny because other fighting games outside of Smash games have never had this misconception. They realize that like Zangief can be broken even though he loses neutral in every single matchup. Like Zangief does not have a winning neutral in any matchups, and he was still considered one of the best. And it still is. Still wins super majors. And I think Kragg is kind of in that, where like Kragg's neutral is not even bad. In fact, I think he wins neutral in some matchups due to how good the rock and like the keep away is. And then on top of that, he just lives forever because recoveries are broken in this game. And Kragg's especially, if he barely lifts an attack, he's spending 40 seconds in the corner just twerking on you until he sets up and wants to come back. Yeah, I don't get it. Maybe I'll be proven wrong eventually, but I really think people are underrating Kragg just because, I don't know, maybe the Kragg players suck, but they don't even. But like they just assume that when they get hit by a heavy character, that was their fault. But if they get hit by like Maypul, then they couldn't do nothing about it. Yeah, I don't really get it. I think Loxodont is also actually all this shit I talked about it. I do think Loxodont is significantly slower. I still don't think Loxodont's bad, but if you're losing with Loxodont, and you're blaming the character, you're probably just bad. I don't think this character lacks anything outside of being a little bit slow. He basically has no flaws. Recovery is fucked up. Like, yeah, sometimes you'll be able to kill him when he recovers, but on the average, like, he's so fucking hard to edge guard. His arrows are completely busted. Also has a command grab. Like, amazing at juggling. Yeah, I honestly think people just underestimate how important it is to be a heavy in this game. Because I truly think that as people get better with CC and shit like that, and realizing that you can CC longer, you know, when you're a super heavy. So yeah, you know. All right, Maypul. I think Maypul is, I think also top of A, but not quite as good as the S tier. Like, I could be wrong on this, but I do think the Maypul nerfs recently did matter. I could see low S for sure, but right now I'm going to keep S to only 2 characters. Incredibly strong character, super fast. Basically, only issue is, like, you know, recovery can be a little iffy. And in general, like, doesn't have, like, kind of has the issue that, like, Pikachu kind of has in Melee, where Maypul throws themselves at you all the time, which inherently makes them more inconsistent than some characters that can, like, fuck you over from like half the screen away or not interact with you. Granted, Maypul has like the seed and like can set up the down B and shit like that, and is incredibly good at playing neutral. I just think that nerfing, like some of the nerfs that happened in the most recent patch where they nerfed the frame down on some moves, because of how the character is built on like just being super fucking broken with a couple moves and then just like playing neutral around those. I do think those nerfs could matter more than people expect. And I also get the feeling, at least for now, that like Maypul not being able to go off stage as safely as some other characters is going to make edge guarding really hard for Maypul, because there's basically only 2 good ways to edge guard right now, and it's, well, there's 3 actually, but a lot of edge guarding revolves around not letting your opponent hit the wall so that they can wall jump and twerk towards the wall and then just like grab the edge instantly from that. Also, when you're hugging the wall, you can just ledge tech everything or wall tech everything. So a lot of edge guarding right now is about not letting them get to the wall. And you either do this by, 1, flying off the stage and just like swinging, or you stand by the wall and then you do like a really strong spike. There's also the grabbing the edge and then like getting up from the edge, like double jumping with like a back air or falling with a back air. That's also strong. And for example, Ranno does that. And then there's obviously characters like Fleet and Kragg who can just throw projectiles and fuck you over from like standing on stage, but they're still doing shit. And I think Maypul doesn't have the most amazing edge guarding. At least that's the vibe I get right now. And I do think that's going to hold them back from some of the best characters. Not to say that it's bad. Like, Maypul's still kind of a Make-A-Wish character, but also has a tiny bit of a weakness in just like being easy to juggle and combo. But characters like this are just always super volatile, so they're always really hard to judge. All right, next up we have Ranno. I could see Ranno be either A or B. I think I will put Ranno here for now. But I do think Ranno is a very strong character. But the thing with these characters, again, is that they have a flaw, right? And the flaw that Ranno has is just obviously the air mobility, right? Makes Ranno super easy to juggle. He's also perfect combo weight. Also makes his recovery worse. Like, his recovery is pretty good, but I do think that some characters and in some spots it is really exploitable because he just can't drift as much. So he can't just get to the wall very easily. He still has to play, like, you know, he uses his specials more than just hugging the wall. But yeah, overall, really amazing character. I would say the nerfs to tech chasing hurt Ranno really bad. I think they're good nerfs, don't get me wrong, but like, he can't just like, when I played Ranno, you could just reaction tech chase, and you cannot do that anymore. You have to actually make reads way more often because there's a limit, like a chain grab limit on how often you can tech chase. And they nerfed dash stack, F tilt. Like, I think Ranno's strength is exactly where a good character should be. Obviously, you can nerf like a few of his moves or whatever, like tune him a little bit, but he has like very clear weaknesses. Still feels strong. Has a core mechanic in like the bubble and the needles, but they're not like super overbearing and super toxic to fight. In general, just doesn't play a super degenerate playstyle. And they nerfed a lot of his like easy kills. They nerfed a lot of the strength of his kill moves that are like spammable. Made like moves like F tilt way more like laggy, so you can't just spam that. Made it hard to come from down to an up tilt. Made dash attack have a sour spot. Like, I think they made a lot of really solid changes that the 2 next characters simply did not get, right? Where I actually thought that these characters were pretty close to Ranno in the past. Ranno has just gotten nerfed a bit more. Even though I think Ranno has maybe not gotten more nerfs, like numbers-wise, than like Wrastor and Zetterburn have, and even Maypul. I think the big issue with Ranno is that because Ranno's like a grounded character, there's a bit more limited in terms of how Ranno likes to punish and how likes to play the game, because you can't play in the air as much. A couple nerfs to like the tilts, the ground moves is a way bigger deal for Ranno, who is very ground based, than nerfing a single aerial of Zetterburn, Maypul, or Wrastor, because these characters have so many options. They're such complete toolkits. They're basically broken in every way rather than being very strong in one. And so targeting nerfs for those characters requires way more things, because they're not broken by tuning. They're broken by like design almost. And that's kind of why I think these characters have stayed stronger. All right, next up, we'll have Wrastor. I actually think Wrastor is the best character in the game. And I think a lot of it is basically that he just got buffed again, the most recent patch. And for whatever reason, he has the best recovery I've ever seen. Like, this character literally is, if you're a melee player, what if you took the best of Marth and the best of Jigglypuff and then put him into one. And then you gave him like Fox and plus Falcon speed. Like, it is genuinely insane how fast this character is and how mobile he is, while also not having any real flaws in terms of dying early. Like, yeah, he's technically a little bit lighter, but he's not puff light. Like, he's not dying at 50 from an up smash. He's dying at 9 instead of 100. But instead, his recovery is just a fucking goat. Like, he's the most obvious, like, broken by design character I've ever seen, because he doesn't have a single flaw. And he has, like, safe kill setups. He can do smashes in the fucking air. I have played him. He's not slow, bro. And he's super, like his movement he can just sway all over. You know what? Fuck it. I'm showing it. He has the worst wave dash. He's not, like, dude, having a bad wave dash when the wave dash is still good enough does not matter, bro. This is not a bad wave dash. Like, yeah, it's the worst, but it's not a bad one. Like, there's a lot of broken melee characters that do not have amazing wave dashes. Like Peach, Sheik, they do not have amazing wave dashes. And yeah, his dash is fucking crazy. And this is, like, having this dash dance and this dash attack and like broken ass tilts, you know, super fast, like jab movement. Fuck. I have, like, having that on a puff archetype is fucking insane. Like, this is not how fast Jigglypuff is. And yeah, like, his air movement is so fucking crazy. And he has, like, bunch of specials that he can change his. Like, it's actually just comical, bro. And he could just... He has different type of up Bs, like recoveries. How would I change him? He needs a weakness, bro. Because all of this, you know, I convinced you guys that he had good movement, and I didn't even use the side B yet. Like, bro, he literally has a free as fuck projectile to throw out that just makes him faster. Hitting this shit is not hard, and again, he's not slow. But, like, dude, he's the fastest character there ever has been with his buff, man. It's a shame, because I actually think he's cool in some ways, but he feels... I really dislike how a lot of his moves feel. His grabs are good, right? I feel like he has a bunch of good throws. Like, he has the down throw that you can tech chase with. It's like a downer that, like, pulls in. Like, yeah, I don't know. To me, he's just like a bit too strong in every single way. I have an incredibly hard time seeing Wrastor not be the best character in the game. I think having this type of recovery and like because he has this recovery and he's so fast, he also has the best edge guard because he can just go out there and not let people get to the wall. So yeah, I think in general he's just the best edge guarder for sure. All right, next up we have Zetterburn. Zetterburn is also, I would just make him light in weight. I think there is a, okay, this is still talking about Wrastor. I think you can make him lighter, but I think there's a limit to how much you can just crank a single weakness and then expect everything to be fine because they technically have a weakness. I think characters are often more interesting when they have more than one single weakness, because if Wrastor is too light, then Wrastor is not gonna, like, you're not gonna be able to combo him either. Like, he probably needs some actual, like, they need to carve out a weakness to him, because I don't think his moves already kind of feel a little bit bad. Like, the moves themselves don't feel broken. It's just that his movement is so broken. And his stats, like being able to be a multi-jump character in a game with like this broken movement, it's just so broken, even though like it's not like his like fair has like particularly amazing frame rate or whatever. It's just like everything together. Yeah, S is ordered, but not super strongly. Okay, Zetterburn. I think Zetterburn is basically a fan fiction character and could be the best character in the game, but I think being edge guardable at all means that Wrastor's is better, basically. And also means that you're more consistent, because as broken as Zetterburn is, and he's incredibly fucking broken in every way, being gimpable in a 3-stock game is something I think people undervalue. Zetterburn is also easier to combo for a lot of characters than Wrastor. So what this means is that like this game feels like a 4-stock game, but it's a 3-stock game. Zetterburn actually can get like seared to death very like convincingly by a lot of characters, and the punish game is only going to get better as we learn more about the game and more about tech chasing, stuff like that, more about edge guarding. And I do think that makes it really hard for him to play Zetterburn, because you can't actually just get like cheese for kills pretty easy. Now obviously that is not easy to do versus Zetterburn, but it is something that can happen, and I think it pulls him down from the absolute like pinnacle of consistency. But yeah, what is Zetterburn broken at? Well, Zetterburn has everything, bro. Like, if you're coming into this game and you're like, oh, I want to play the Fox, like, dude, this is not Fox. This is, what if Fox had a baby with Falco, had a baby with Captain Falcon, basically. It's like, he's a weird mishmash of broken ideas. Like, he has Wolf side B, which is basically Falco side B, but better in some ways and worse in some ways. Just incredibly good at moving backwards. Like, dude, I don't even want to like show this shit, but like, dude, he has a spacey with a move that looks like this. Like, he has Marth Fair or Sheik Fair, basically, with the strength of Falcon Knee if you hit the strong one. Like, he basically has Falcon Knee, actually, just straight up, as a spacey, which is just like, what? Like, if you know anything about spaces, you know that their fair fucking sucks. What is this? Spaces are generally, like, outside of Falco Dare, a lot of their moves are supposed to CC. What is this, brother? Like, it is so dumb that he can do, like, down air, charge up smash, and kill. Up air, like, hello? Hello? Why does it have a fucking ass hitbox? Like this Nair too. It's just like better. Like what? What is this hitbox, man? Back air that like baby confirms into kills at all percents. The only thing is Shine is technically worse than melee Shine in terms of speed because it's frame 2. But instead it is even better for combos. And in overall, far, far better than Fox Shine. Because Fox Shine, especially in a game like this, is kind of ass because Fox Shine is not good. Like, Fox Shine is a good gimping tool versus characters with bad recovery, basically. What I mean by that? Well, Fox Shine is like, it might feel weird if you played like melee like semi-casually or semi-competitively, or if you just watch it. But like, what I'm basically saying is that if a character reaches a certain threshold of being too good at recovering, Fox's Shine becomes like an incredibly hard tool to hit. Because the like Fox Shine doesn't beat a lot of recoveries and stuff like that. Usually the way you kill with Fox Shine is by reading like a double jump, or you drop really far down or whatever. But that doesn't really happen that much in this game because you can just wall jump and like recoveries are so broken, so active in general. So I think that it's far better that Zetterburn has this Shine, which like it's like a little bit of a Fox Shine. Like if you hit someone below, then it spikes them down. But if you hit them inside, it sends them up. If you hit them on the side, it sends them forward. So it basically gives Zetterburn the best of all worlds for this game, where he has Falco Shine in terms of like being able to like, you know, shield pressure, and then one of them hits, then I'm just still an advantage, right? It gives him like incredibly diverse combo routes because it changes which way it hits depending on where you are. Just knowing that your opponent's gonna go for Shine next attack doesn't actually mean anything. Like they could Shine you different ways, right? In general, what they added in this game is that they added shields and CC, right? And Shine has always been a broken move against those two moves, right? And that's why I think that like having Shine in previous Rivals might have been good, but in this game it's like broken to have Shine. And now that they nerfed like shields, it's also just incredibly easy to make aerial safe on shield with Zetterburn, especially because you have buffer offensively. So you can kind of just twerk with your broken ass aerials, and then they have to shield, and then boom, 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 like it kind of is insane just how broken he is. And then he also, for whatever reason, has like a way better recovery than Spacey. He has like Falcon down B, where, you know, he can do this and then he gets a jump back. His up B is like incredibly fast, and like you can drift like crazy on it. Like look at that fastball. Like what the fuck? In general, his wall jump shit is also very good. Again, like it's not necessarily that Zetterburn's biggest weakness in the meta, I would say, is that Zetterburn is worse at edge guarding than most characters, but like you can just ult edge guard by doing this and just like hoping you hit them as they recover, and it will work a reasonable amount of the time. The problem with doing it in this game compared to Ultimate though is that even when you hit them, a lot of the time they can tech. And going out like this does have its issues because of how fast people are getting back. Like even there, the CPU could have fucking reverse edge guarded me, right? His grab game is incredible. Like all the throws are just broken as fuck. Like Falco has no good throws, and Fox only has up throw on some characters in melee. Zetterburn has Falcon down throw and Falcon up throw. Like you can do down throw knee, you can do down throw Fox up smash. In general, in this game, it's a problem not like that you can't kill people fast enough. But Zetterburn just does not have that problem at all. Like, especially if they're on flames, which like all your specials give. Like, dude, a single down tilt, just boom. Like up throw is like amazing. Like, and the throws are so fast that you can actually like it's actually really hard to react to them. Only 4 throws reactable. I think his up B is fast as Spacies. Start as Spacies. And yeah, like back air, like sending like that. Yeah, I don't know. He's just a Make-A-Wish character for sure. You could actually just kind of do whatever. I think the craziest part about Zetterburn is that I actually think a lot of his mechanics are high skill. Like, Shine is still a really hard move to use because, and especially in this game, like because there's so many hitboxes of Shine, like there's so much you can do because of that, because you don't know exactly which hitbox you're gonna hit all the time, or you can mix up like doing shit like this. Like, he generally has a very high skill ceiling. Obviously, he has to hit the sweet spot. Like, he's like a Spacey with tippers, right? Like, you can combo specific combos by hitting the weak hit instead of that one. Up air also has a tipper, and that means that like you can space the weak up air or you can hit the strong up air. Oh yeah, he also has a Gatling for some reason. So he's a Spacey, but their dash attack is broken even at 0. His down smash is also better than Spacey's, like has insane kill power. But also the F smash is like better Falco F smash. Just like comical levels of strength when you have the flame on. All right, last 2 characters. I think Orcane is B. I think Zetterburn's C. Forsburn C. I don't know. I would probably rank it like this for like a tier list that people see online. But it honestly, I feel like Forsburn is clearly the worst character in the game. So I would probably put it like this. I don't think he's much worse though. And I could be wrong. He's still very new. But I don't really see... What is the point of view, you know? I could be wrong though, but the main issue with Forsburn is basically that you're always doing something in this game. So all of his things that require you to be set up, like clone, neutral B, down B, they're just too slow. Like you can't set up for all of his shit if your opponent's just twerking on your ass with Wrastor Zetterburn. And the setup just is not strong enough compared to, say, Orcane's Puddle or Fleet's Arrow or Maypul's like down B, Kragg's Rock, etc. Right? Yeah, he also just struggles with killing. I haven't actually ranked Orcane. So the problem with Smoke is essentially that like it doesn't cover enough space for him to be like, for you to have no idea where he is. Unless you like set up multiples, which is really hard. Because his ground moves suck overall, it makes it really hard to justify being on the ground in the Smoke. And the thing is that like characters are so fast in this game to the point where like if you're a little bit in the air, I do Smoke here, right? Now you don't know where I am, but there's no reason for me to be up here. And the camera moves as I jump. See this? This does not happen in Rivals 1. The camera goes up because I'm jumping. So once people get used to that, they will realize that, oh shit, he's like actually in the air. Like you can kind of tell what I'm doing here, right? Like I'm dash dancing. I'm over here. Yeah, the camera is the same for both players. And until I start getting this much amount, but even now you can kind of tell where I am. So I think they need to lock the camera when he smokes. Also, when you side B, it makes a sound. And the clone AI is fucking dog shit. Like, the clone AI just like double jumps for no, like it instantly sells. Like literally frame 1 sells. See, like instantly sold me out. A player would never do this. Like run, like what are you doing? And then they randomly SD like If the clone just did dash dancing or something, yeah, see? If the clone just dash danced or like ran across the stage or like even wave dash or anything, like it needs to do more things. It doesn't need to wave dash probably, but like, yeah. And so you can explode the clone once it runs into the opponent, but the explosion does not do anything. Like it's so hard to hit it because it's not big enough a hitbox, and it's like that's not a combo with the CC. The whole problem is that the clone just does some pointless things of like accidentally running off and then double jumping back over and over, to where mimicking it is hard. And even if you could, like mimicking this, like double jumping off, is like the worst thing to mimic, because what if you get hit without a double jump? I think in general the down B, the waft, is just too hard to hit, and it's just like it's not good enough for a charge move. Like, it's not a win con to have waft in this game. It doesn't actually kill early. Kills at like 100. And Zetterburn is like, yeah, I kill at 60, bro. This dash attack is decent, but it's ASDI-able. Doesn't go very far. Does not Gatling combo up smash like Zetterburn, right? And I think most importantly, just like it's not enough, man. Like it's a decent dash attack, but like, you know, it's just not enough. Oh yeah, Nair is another move that does almost no damage all the time. I like so this just has a problem. Like a lot of characters are just too short in this game. Zetterburn is really, Forsburn is really fucking ass at hitting short characters. I'm a melee Evo champion, and it's like a 1 frame timing to have the sweet spot hit. If you want to fast wall it specifically. I'm showing you, right? Like I have to hit the fin. If I don't hit the fin, it's really hard. Like fair, just whiffs. But yeah, in general, just a weak character. Like no oppressive strengths, a lot of bad weaknesses. The gimmick of the smoke just is not good enough. Next up we have Orcane. I think Orcane is the character I have a hardest time ranking. But I would say in general, Orcane is probably here. Or maybe there. Super fast character, a lot of crazy movement. But I honestly have not seen enough, and it seems like to be one of the least played characters as well. So it's just like really hard to judge exactly how good Orcane is, but has a really bad recovery when Pul's not out. Like worst in the game with no recovery. Like side B is basically all you got. They nerfed Orcane's tilts a lot this last patch, which means that like Orcane's tilts are not even like that much better. But the problem is that Orcane's aerials are kind of specific. Like back air is kind of a struggle to hit with sometimes. And fair is just like, it's like a different move, but that means that you don't have a regular fair. Which means that you can't just like zone very well. You can't keep them out. Downer, in my opinion, seems pretty inconsistent. It's just like not that crazy of a move. Nair is like the star for neutral, but like, yeah, just, I don't know. Not enough. And I think neutral B is really broken. Like this shit. Yeah, you can do this shit, which is good, but I don't think it's like... Overall, fair is worse than having like a Marth fair, for sure, right? I think we can all agree on that, right? Hopefully. But like, as good as it is, it's still probably better to have a regular Marth fair for a zoning archetype. Because if you had a Marth fair, you could actually not get in on Orcane, and then he would do this shit when he's far. And then he would zone you with fair. Yeah, I would say the biggest problem is that Orcane to me was like a tilt-based character with like this being broken and this being broken and this being broken. And kind of like how they nerfed Ranno's tilt a lot. Now the characters without broken aerials are just worse now because, you know, that the characters that are focused on having broken aerials, like it's seemingly way more okay for the devs for aerials to be broken than for tilts and jabs and grounded moves to be broken. And that just means that like if you nerf Orcane's tilt to be great but not broken, but you don't let Orcane have broken aerials, but you let, you know, Zetterburn and Wrastor like have fucking god, like be gods when they jump, and Maypul as well. That means that like tilts are already more frame dependent, like frame data dependent than aerials because, you know, you can't move when you do this. All the best tilts that you can think of are probably low end lag, right? Like, you know, Sheik F tilt, Snake F tilt, Marth down tilt, Marth up tilt, right? Like all of them are low lag, right? Overall, I've been complaining a lot, but I do think this game is quite amazing. And it really just is about, you know, nailing the balance and nerfing some of the top tiers. Adjusting recoveries, I think, is the big thing. Recoveries are way too good. But outside of that, I actually think the game is like really good. Like way better on launch than I thought.